Love lives here.
All right. So this year here at Centers for Spiritual Living Worldwide, we are working with the theme of living everyday wonder. And this month, we're working with the theme of living everyday wonder. And what we're doing is we are practically applying, or we're using practice and practical application of this thing that we teach of spiritual principle of the creative process to effect and change and cause change to happen, cause transformation to happen in various areas and aspects of our lives. So we have been exploring all kinds of aspects of our lives, relationships and health, our physical well-being, our mental well-being, our emotional well-being, nature, etc. We've been experiencing and exploring these themes all year. We've been exploring these themes all year, and this month we are looking at the financial aspects of our lives, because that is also an aspect of our lives where we can apply spiritual principle to, because regardless of which aspect of our lives we are involved in, or which aspect of our lives we focus on, spiritual principle, spiritual law is always spiritual law. And how we apply it in those various areas then has interesting and different results based on them, but there are consistent results, because we know that if we are applying law, then we know that there must be an effect. There is a cause, so there must be an effect. And it is done as we believe it to be. Yes? All right. So, last week, we talked about swimming in the infinite ocean, swimming in that infinite abundant supply. Remember, we identified abundance as principle, that we live in an abundant universe, that nothing is ever withheld, that the universe is forever and ever expanding, forever and ever growing, that spirit, God, whatever you choose to call the higher power, is forever expressing itself, forever evolving, forever sharing and creating. It's from itself, through itself, as itself. Yes? And that what we know is that prosperity is the effect of the cause. That abundance is the cause, the high idea. It is the belief. It is that high idea. It is the oneness, the allness, the fullness. It is the spiritual principle. So if we recognize that that is the spiritual principle that's then applied to the law, to that creative medium, then we must receive an effect that is an expression of that cause. And so the effect then is actually prosperity, is that which we see in the material world, whether it be material things or love relationships or joy or money or what have you, finances, that is that prosperity. So we can be rich in a multitude of ways in our lives, right? Rich with friends, rich with time, rich with love, rich with money. Right? It doesn't really matter, because it's all forms of energy, and it's all forms of the one same energy. So this week, we're talking about letting it flow. And all week long, when Michelle saw the title, then it started with her sharing it as like, all we heard was Elsa singing, "Let it go, let it go, let it go," right? And so this week's email, I put, let it flow, don't hold it back anymore, right? So when we talk about the flow, what we're really talking about is we're talking about a law of circulation. We are talking about a law of circulation of energy. We're talking about flow. Energy has to move. If energy is stagnant, then what happens when energy is stagnant, when water is stagnant? Hi, James. When water is stagnant, right? If you have water running into a pool of water, and the water is not circulating, then the water stagnates, and then it turns green, and then it's a breeding ground for mosquitoes and all kinds of other creatures that, yes, those are God's creatures too. And I'd prefer them be in a different environment than my environment. How's that? Right? So the water will pool, it'll stagnate. So if you think of a pond versus a lake, there's usually some sort of an outlet, right? Whereas a pond, they don't call it lake scum, right? It's called pond scum, right? Because there's no outlet. So in order for there to be flow, there has to be an inlet and there has to be an outlet. There can't be just an inlet. There also has to be an outlet. It has to flow from as well. And that's the way all energy works, is it has to flow into us, and it also has to flow out of us. So if we have something flowing into us and then we allow it to flow out of us, that is the way the circulation happens. So think of your breath for a moment. Flow is already happening in your life, unimpeded, if you're here. Flow is happening throughout your life, unimpeded. You take a breath in, and you release the breath, right? Your heart pumps blood out so that more blood can come in. Out, in, out, in, right? The pumping of your blood. So you breathe 17,000 times a day. Wow, right? Your heart beats 100,000 times per day. 100,000. It moves 2,000 gallons of blood through your system on a daily basis. That is some circulation, right? But if you have if your muscles are frozen or you get that knot, what that's called when you're from a massage therapist perspective, what that's called is it's ischemic, meaning it's not getting blood, it's not getting circulation. And so now you have a knot in your shoulder that is causing pain because there's a lack of circulation there. And so your blood is pooling and all of the toxins in your body are now pooling in that spot. And so you go see a massage therapist to get it moved and massaged out and massaged to increase the circulation. A standard 1-hour Swedish massage, by the way, just fun fact for you because, is the equivalent to a 7-mile hike in terms of circulation. Not calorie burning, sorry. I used to tell my clients that. And you're not going to you're not going to lose 2 pounds on my table, You will have gotten the circulatory impact of 7-mile hike, but no. So don't necessarily think you can go have that piece of chocolate cake now after the massage. So strawberries and chocolate-covered strawberries and champagne, why not? But at any rate. So that is it's circulating. There's the circulation. But notice, too, that there's the inlet and the outlet, right? And so what happens frequently is we get a kink in our hose. And we start coming from a place of lack or limitation, like, I don't have enough, so let me hold on to what I have, and as long as I'm holding on to what I have, then I still have it. But you know what? When we're holding on to what we have with tight, clenched fists, guess what? You can't receive anything else, right? How can I receive anything if my hands are closed? In order for me to be able to receive anything, I have to let go of that which I'm holding on to in order to create a vacuum, in order to create a space for more good to come in, for something new to come in. If you climb a ladder, think of it that way too. You have to let go of the one rung in order to reach up to the next rung. In order to continue to advance, you have to let go, release, and grab, release, and receive, right? So if your garden hose has a kink in it, you got to unkink the garden hose in order for the water to flow. The water has to have somewhere to go. If you've cut off, if you're not experiencing much, there's a kink in your hose somewhere. And it's your opportunity to unkink that hose and let it flow. So where perhaps in your life are you holding on tightly? It could be money. It could be forgiveness. It could be relationships. It could be love, that we're holding on to something so tight. And when we hold on to something so tight, we can't receive more. Because the way it works is the universe fills a vacuum. But in order for more good to flow to us, we have to be receptive and available to receive it. We have to create a space. We have to create a vacuum in order to be able to receive more love, in order to be able to receive more good, in order to be able to receive more joy, in order to be able to receive more peace, in order to be able to receive more money. We have to create a vacuum. We have to create a space into which spirit can flow, into which our good can flow, into which abundance can flow. Because if we don't create that space, then what happens is like a river, let the river run. The river, if there's a rock, the river is going to go around the rock, it's going to go over the rock, it's going to go under the rock, and eventually it's going to go through the rock, right? It's going to wear the rock down. Same thing with our energy. If we are stuck, then we can't receive it. The rock's not going to receive it. We can't receive it. Our good is going to circumvent us. It's going to go anywhere but here because we haven't created the receptacle for it to take a pause and enter our lives, enter our expression, enter our experience. So we have to let it flow. We have to create the vacuum by letting go of things that no longer serve us. The other component to this, so that's one of the ways that energy gets stuck, right? Is because we're not giving. We're just withholding. I'm going to keep it all here. I'm not going to share it. I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to move it. I'm just going to hold it. As long as I'm holding it, I can't receive anymore. And so even that which I'm holding eventually is going to go away, right? So the other component to this is not just in the giving, or not just in the giving and the receiving, but there's this middle part here called usage, using it. Ernest Holmes, in the Science of Mind text, he talks about prosperity being the outpicturing of substance. And that we must receive it, utilize it, and extend it. Receive it, utilize it, extend it. So between receiving and giving, there is this utilization piece. Yes? So it's a three-pronged piece that keeps things flowing, is the utilization piece. So, once again, if we go back to our bodies, right? If I take a nice deep breath in, right? But before I exhale, my body is taking in that oxygen and putting it into the blood and sending it out throughout my body. It is utilizing the breath, it is utilizing the oxygen, and then it is expelling, it is extending, it is giving out, it is releasing carbon dioxide, right? So in, utilization, out. And that keeps the circulation flowing. If you just take a breath in, right? Starts to stagnate, right? Same thing, we're going to go there, with food, right? In an ideal functioning system, we take food in, our bodies metabolize it, know how to use it, and then whatever is no longer necessary or useful eliminates it. Unless something's not functioning properly, in which case you might get a little backed up. In which case there's stagnation that's happening, and you might begin to experience not only discomfort, but dis-ease within your body system, right? So there is this circulation, the part of circulation that is absolutely necessary is utilizing what you've received. So if you receive something, energy requires that it be moved. So if you receive something, then we have almost an obligation, if you will, to utilize it in some way, utilize it for good, utilize it for our benefit, and then move it on, give it away, pass it along. Where we get stuck with a lot of this is we either don't want to give because we're in fear that if we give something away, we're never going to get it back. We're never going to get another one. We're never going to have more of whatever that was. We're never going to have more cherry pie, right? If I give away that last piece, there's never going to be any more cherry pie, at least not from that particular bakery, right? But yeah, the cherry pie might come back, but something else even better, like boysenberry pie from Knott's, is even better, will come in if you give the one away, right? So if we're not, so the part of it is we don't want to give things away, so we want to hold. The reason we hold is because we have a fear. We have a fear of lack. We have a fear of limitation. We have a fear that there's not enough, that the pie itself, that it's a limited piece. There's only a limited amount of pie, and once the pie is gone, that's it. There is no more pie. Life is not just a single pie. Life is a bakery and everything that needs to happen to make the pie. It's forever and ever expanding. So it's not limited to this one piece, but yet we have this idea that there's only so much. And if I don't get mine and I don't hold on to mine, I won't get any. And so I'm not going to share it. I'm not going to give it. But then the other piece to that is that the way that fear shows up, the way that lack shows up, is also in the not utilizing. It's in the hoarding. It's in the stockpiling. It's in the, keeping things and not using things, not utilizing things. So think about your bedroom closet for a moment. Oh, the air just went out of the room. How many of those pieces of clothes and shoes and hats and scarves and sweaters or whatever have you actually worn in the past year? Or your drawers? Oh my. Stop it. Right? If we're not utilizing our belongings and we're not utilizing them lovingly and joyfully, if we're not utilizing them, then guess what's happening? We're stagnating. We are saying to the universe, you know what? I have enough. I don't need any more. I don't want any more. I don't desire any more. And so I'm continuing to affirm that, this is good. Whether I'm coming from lack or what, this is good. I don't need anything more. I don't want anything more. I don't need more joy. I don't want more love. I don't want more peace. No, I'm good just as I am right now. Right? So think about your garage. Can you park your car in the garage? I'm hearing, I'm like, ooh, okay. So we're holding on to stuff in the garage too, right? So if we want to be able to experience more flow, if we want to be able to experience more love and abundance in our lives, maybe it's time to go through the rented storage shed and get rid of stuff you haven't seen in 10 years. Maybe it's time to go through the garage. And when we release these things and create more space, when we release these things, 20-year-old Oreos, when we release these things, maybe not that, but some of the other stuff. When we release these things lovingly and we pass them on, then what we're saying to the universe is like, you know what, I love this. I want other people to share in this. I want to spread more joy. I want to spread more love. I want to spread it. I want to share it. Because when we're doing it lovingly, then what we're saying, what we're signaling to the universe because of the feeling, right? What we're signaling to the universe is, more of the good stuff. But if we are resentful, hateful, angry, stuck in the mud, like, no, I don't want to give it up, but okay, Rev Jeff said I had to, so. But if we come at it with that energy and we throw stuff out or we get rid of stuff with that kind of energy, like, no, you're going to pry it from my cold, dead hands, right? Then what is happening there is the universe is hearing that, and what does the universe do? The universe multiplies that which you are sharing, that which you're spending, that which you're emoting or you're feeling energy. That's what the universe is going to multiply. So guess what you're going to get more of? More lack, more limitation, because the universe goes, okay, you can either have abundance or you can have limitation, whatever you prefer, but I'm going to give you more of whatever it is that you're believing, whatever it is that you're thinking, whatever it is that you're buying into, whatever the belief is. And so if we're not utilizing something and it's not bringing us joy, that's why I love the Marie Kondo stuff, or the KonMari. The Japanese woman who does the professional organization and had those shows on for a while. I love that. And when we had talked about that before we moved, that, Ed and I went through when we moved down here from Vegas, that, we KonMari'd our house. We got rid of a lot of stuff, and so we moved down. We did get rid of a lot. I think there's still some more to get rid of. Right, honey? Yeah. He gave me a maybe. Because he knows what I'm talking about. That, or we can utilize it better, right? We can actually bring out the car model of the Judd's convertible, and we can actually display it and enjoy it rather than it sitting in the shed. Just say it. I love you, honey. So, we have the opportunity to utilize more fully those things that we love or those things that are in our lives. And we have the opportunity then to continue to motivate and bring it forward and move things forward. If it's no longer serving, then let's go ahead and move it forward. All those hundreds of CDs that we all have lying around, you can access it on Spotify. Move it along. Enjoy. Create space in your life, create space in your home, and watch as things come moving in. There are several of you here who participated with Reverend Rochelle's Manifesting More Money. And one of the things, and I'm going to suggest this too, is go through your house, and if there is an area in your house or there's an area in your car, or even perhaps online, your inbox, your email inbox, go through and start decluttering. And watch, as you start decluttering and you create more space, watch what happens as you create this more space, you create this vacuum, the universe just comes right in and fills it. It just moves right in. And last week, I invited you to begin to look at, and they're on the table in the lobby there, I asked you to begin to look at your unexpected good. And really pay attention to your unexpected good and keep your eyes on that unexpected good, those places where money or something shows up, especially if it's, money type thing, because we're talking about finances this week or this month. Pay attention to that. So yesterday we went to Stater Brothers and we used the digital coupon. We saved $5. Hey, that's $5. Right? So when I got home, I wrote it down on my sheet, 5 Stater Brothers, $5. Because as we continue to pay attention to this, we recognize that we do live in the abundant universe, and we continue to participate in the flow of life because we are giving and we are receiving, and we're watching it multiply, but we're also utilizing it in the process. At the end of every service, what do? I am love, right? I share it, I receive it, and I move love forward. We say it at the end of every service, right? It's the law of circulation, beloveds. I share it, I receive it, and I move it forward. I share it, I receive it, I move it forward. This is the way it is, not only with love, but with money, with joy, with anything in your life that you want to experience more of. Share it, share it, share it, receive it, and move it forward. Utilize it and move it forward. Watch it expand, watch it grow. So this week, your spiritual homework, your spiritual tool is to find that one place in your home or your car or wherever that's got a little more, let's just call it stuck energy rather than clutter. Stuck energy. And how about freeing that up? Experiment this week. Free that up. And then continue to do, because the other is a month-long practice, continue to pay attention to your unexpected good. Continue to pay attention to that and watch the good flowing in and make note of that as well. So pay attention, become aware of how moving that stuff, that clutter, that sludge, and the thing that causes the most sludge in our pipes, beloveds, is fear. Fear, 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 fear. Let that stuff go. LTSG. Let that stuff go and move it forward. Participate in the law of circulation. Feel the circulation moving through your body. Feel the circulation moving through your life. As you unclear the clutter, or you clear the clutter, not unclear it, that would make more of it. So clear the clutter, and whatever that means for you. Could be stuff, could be relationships, could be friends, could be any kind of toxicity, could be foods, whatever it is. Clear the clutter. All righty? Yes? Yes? Yes. All right. So I invite our practitioners and our core council members to please stand and surround the sanctuary. And these beloveds are in service to this beloved community, lifting this community in prayer every day of the week. And let us join together in consciousness. I invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable in doing so, and let us come together. Once again, there is only one power, one presence, one infinite eternal that is abundant. It is forever and ever expanding. It is this one life that I choose in this moment to call God, call Spirit, call the universe. And it is forever expanding. It is consciousness itself, and it brought forth all of life, all of creation. Therefore, I know that all of life, all of creation is a divine emanation and impartation, a divine manifestation of this one life that is all life. And I know that it is this love intelligence that is forever expressing itself, forever expanding itself, forever sharing and giving of itself. And as it does, it participates in the law of circulation. Each individualized expression participates in that law of circulation, and it keeps moving and keeps flowing and keeps expanding. This is the way the universe expands, is through circulation. Circulation. And so I recognize that I am one with the one, that I am the power and the presence of love, the power and the presence of circulation on the planet, that right where I am, Spirit is, the divine is, living, moving, breathing, and having its being in, through, and as me, and I in, through, and as it. And as I know that this is true of me, I know that this is true of everyone gathered here this day. And so I speak my word here and now for this beloved community, that we step into the flow. That, in fact, we don't even need to step into it. We're already in the flow itself. We just need to allow the flow to carry us. So we step into the flow. We allow the flow to carry us forward. We allow Spirit to carry us forward, knowing that we are maintained and sustained, knowing that we are divinely guided and guarded, knowing that life itself is the ever-givingness of life to itself. So nothing is ever withheld. So I actively participate in the flow of giving and utilizing and receiving and utilizing and giving and utilizing and receiving and utilizing and giving. More and more good expands through this process, through me, right here and right now. And so I give thanks for the bounty. I give thanks for the abundance. I give thanks for the prosperity that simply is all that there is. I give thanks for each and every one gathered here this day and the law of circulation active in their lives right here and right now. And so I release this word, knowing it is already done, knowing that it is so. I let it be, and together we affirm, and so it is.
love